I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a City Council business meeting on July 30th. It is 6:05 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Murray,
Present.
Councilmember Middleton,
Present.
Councilmember Kavanaugh,
Present.
Councilmember Matavetsky,
Present.
Councilmember Rathmel,
Present.
Councilmember Dundon is absent, Council President Pro Tem Hotchkiss.
Present.
Thank you.
We'll move on to approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, minutes are approved. Moving on to our reports from committees and appointments. Are there any reports from committees?
Yeah, I'll start. MPA. Today we had a meeting regarding, I don't know why this sounds like this. It's like muffled. We had a meeting today regarding the renaming of Columbus Park. We are in the process of setting a final date and time and place. And once we get everything going, probably we'll start promoting it. So that's what our meeting was about today in MPA.
Thank you. Is there any other reports from committees?
Sure. The planning committee met both on July 17th as well as this morning regarding the RL to move forward with purchasing Binghamton Plaza via eminent domain. So for those who are following along, that is available on our YouTube channel. I will say that there were several questions that were posed, particularly regarding the business transition and employee impact that council went into executive session to discuss. But otherwise, this morning, we really dug into the potential environmental impact if the brownfields cleanup remediation that was completed just over 10 years ago was disrupted. We had a member of the state DEC with us this morning to answer some of those questions. So there's a good bit of expertise shared. Also, the Commission for Conservation of the Environment met last Thursday, the 24th. Again, that's available to view on YouTube. One of the large pieces of conversation that commission has been considering is the blue bag program and policy currently within refuse management within the city. We do have a legislative committee meeting tomorrow at noon where we'll be talking directly with the acting commissioner of the Department of Public Works around some of the weaknesses that have been identified in our current blue bag program and potential modifications and alternatives.
Thank you. Councilmember Matavetsky.
We had a rules committee meeting, mostly status. We received the list of traffic board changes from Corporation Council. We're working on getting a system in place for us to get back in compliance with the charter relating to City Council's role with traffic board approvals. We started reviewing the list that Councilman Kavanaugh has been putting together of dates and things that council is owed, as well as committees and different things that we may be able to appoint to, things that are in all sorts of different chapters that aren't found easily in the chapters that would be logical for us to look in, like the city council chapter or the boards and commissions chapter. There's a lot more hiding out. So we're pulling together that list to try and get things understood about when information is supposed to come in and when we need to make decisions with that information.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other reports? Okay, we can move on to setting up public hearings. We don't have any public hearings to set. We also do not have any public hearings tonight. And now we can move to public comment. So any resident that is wishing to submit a public comment may do so electronically or by email. Their comments can be sent prior to 1 p.m. on the day of the meeting to clerk@cityofbinghamton.gov or in person during the meeting. So I'd welcome anybody to come down to start off our public comments. We've been using these row of orange chairs for anybody who's planning on making a comment so that we can move quickly through different commenters.
Kenneth Brown, West Side resident. I'm here today to talk about the incident with Chief Zukoski that happened almost 2 weeks ago. I wanted to start off with a few numbers. Most people know what happened with the situation, but I want to take it a bit of a different direction. 2008 through 2010, 85,715. 2011 through 2013, 98,614. Between 2015 and 2019, it jumps from 105,572 to 116,400, then to 117,043 for 20 and 21, 121,623 for 22, 134,766 for 23, 147,933 for 24, and 152,371 for 25. That is Chief Zukoski's salary every year for the last 18 years. It's a little over 2 million collectively, but that's not the problem. 35,000 in raises between 21 and 25. A whole salary for some people. 2 consecutive raises of 13,000 in 2023 and 2024. What are we paying the man for? I've looked at the numbers. Violent crime has gone down maybe 4 or 5 out of those 18 years. The rest it's increased. Recently it went down, it was reported on, and then we had a stabbing. The median income of Binghamton is 27,305. He got a collective raise more than most people make in the city on the taxpayer dime. Now, I'll let those numbers sink in, but I don't know how many people have read the police report that was released last week. The video is pretty crazy. A lot of people have seen that, but the police report was interesting because it didn't really line up with the video. The night of the incident was 7/18. There was no contact made or attempted contact apparently that night with Rice or Zukoski. That was the night of the incident. This is according to the report. The next day, the cop showed up, the same officer, and tried again. No answer at the door. There was no reported contact with Zukoski or Rice until 7/21, 3 days after the incident. When Rice was finally charged after the video was released, the news covered it. Public outrage got to be too big where it could be ignored, and then charges happened. And in the report's version of Zukoski's account, he doesn't mention that Rice struck the minor in front of him before she got hit. All he mentions is that she got hit. If you watch the video, it's pretty clear that that's not the case. And by New York state law, Zukoski is a mandated reporter. We don't know if he reported child abuse that happened in front of him. And it should also be mentioned that Chief Zukoski was also the joint police of chief of police for Johnson City from 2010 to 2014. A blatant conflict of interest. Now, I looked up the responding officer. He was not there in Johnson City at the time, but that still doesn't cancel out the conflict of interest. And then all of that, well, hopefully we figured out in the investigation, as long as, it doesn't get swept under the rug or hidden. Because we know Cram loves to play cover for BPD. He always does. Unless one of his campaign donors, Bars, has someone get lit on fire and an officer leaks the video, but that's a whole other situation, I guess. But he loves to play cover for BPD. And he hasn't made any comment publicly or post or anything outside of he's worried about the language that was used. No mention of the fact that it was racist, no condemnation of it, no condemnation of the violence on a child. And it took him less than 24 hours in 2021 to make a nice long post about how he condemns the protesters that showed up outside of former Councilwoman Sophia Resinidi's house.
You have just under a minute.
And at the end of that post, he made sure to say to then Councilman Joe Burns and Democratic mayoral candidate, where is the exact quote? Any candidate for mayor whom refuses to condemn this behavior is not fit to serve, period. I think that's pretty good for this situation, considering one of the highest, if not the highest paid public official was here, that works here in the city, was present for an attack on a child and racist language thrown at said child. Where's the condemnation? Now, I will be fair. I will say I'm still waiting on Dem candidate Miles Burnett to condemn the language too. But right now, I'm really focusing on the guy that's allowed to fire Zukoski. I don't know, it's damning, the silence. It's over and over again we see this. When is enough going to be enough? We pay the guy $152,000 a year.
Time is up.
What the hell are we doing, Binghamton?
Thank you.
Hi, so my name is Revo Root, and I work in the city of Binghamton. And appreciate everyone being here tonight. What we're dealing with here isn't about just one moment. It's about years, decades of misconduct, abuse, and silence under Joe Zukoski. It's about a mayor, no plan Jared Cram, who doesn't have a plan about anything, who has enabled that behavior every step of the way. Zukoski has faced repeated complaints over his career, sexual harassment allegations, discrimination lawsuits, misconduct reports from inside and outside the department. And each time, what happened? He kept his title and he kept his badge. This is a city government that protects power over people. And the truth is, no plan Jared Cram has allowed it to continue. There's been no public process, no effort to bring transparency, and no accountability. No plan Jared Cram has shown no leadership. So if Zukoski is finally on his way out and Jared decides to finally lead, then the people of Binghamton deserve a real say in what comes next. So what do we need? We need a clear public timeline, a community-led selection process of the next chief, full transparency about the administration's next steps. Because for no plan Jared Cram, this isn't about leadership. All we see from him is consistent abandonment. And let me say it clearly so there's no doubt that Joe's got to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Andy Predigus. I'm a resident of the West Side, and I'm the president of Justice and Unity for the Southern Tier. Today, I want to repeat what the residents of Binghamton have been saying for a long time now. Joe Zukoski has got to go as the chief of Binghamton Police. The firing of Joe Zukoski is a critical step in addressing the harm caused by the city of Binghamton during his tenure and the impunity practiced within his and Jared Cram's police force. At Justice and Unity of the Southern Tier, we've seen how the lack of oversight by the mayor's office and previous city councils has fostered abuse and rampant racist policing. The arrogant belief that because you are a police officer or a partner of a police officer, that you are above the law was on full display by Susan Rice when she shouted at two teenagers, "We are the police." That sense of entitlement is learned and is transmitted through a culture of impunity, born out of the unwillingness of so-called leaders to institute real oversight or accountability within the police department. I could run through how the mayor's office has facilitated this culture of impunity, from the dismantling of the Human Rights Commission many years ago, to the sham reimagining police process in 2021, to the rejection of the Attorney General's report on the brutalization of a young Black man on New Year's morning in 2023. Today, however, I want to offer another reason to give Zukoski the boot. There's hardly a person in Broome County more responsible for indefensible racial inequalities, the systemic targeting of Black people by police in the criminal justice system than Joe Zukoski. Today, over 30% of admittance to Broome County Jail are Black, most of whom are sent there from the Binghamton Police. That is, Black people are overrepresented in the jail admissions by 6 times compared to their population. This scandalous disproportionality is a legacy of Binghamton's war on drugs, which was organized, perpetrated by Joe Zukoski when he led the Police Bureau's Special Investigation Unit, largely tasked with pursuing drug cases. Today, Joe Zukoski and Jared Cram's police department continues to be one of the greatest drivers of racialized inequality in our county's criminal legal system. Over 40% of all arrests in the city of Binghamton are of non-white residents, with Black Binghamtonians making a majority of those non-white people arrested. Black people are overrepresented in arrests by 3 times compared to their population in Binghamton. A full 10% of all Black people in the city of Binghamton are arrested annually by Binghamton police. That is, just to be clear, the legacy of Joe and Jared's police department. 1 out of every 10 Black residents are arrested by Binghamton police annually, every year. Although white people are a majority of drug users and drug sellers in Binghamton, every year I have a record for, Black people are charged with more felony drug crimes than white people, even though there are 5 times as many white people in the city of Binghamton as there are Black people. Since the pandemic, a similar trend has emerged with the illegal possession of guns. In 2025, these statistics should give us all pause. The city government and police should, at the very least, take the problem of racialized policing into consideration and work to address it. Their long-term failure to address racist policing is unacceptable. Even worse, both the mayor's office and the city police have just flatly ignored the issue whenever possible. There are so many things the city can do to address how communities are policed and prevent crimes before they happen. And many cities are doing this. Baltimore is a case in point with its innovative youth programming in particular. Not addressing racist policing is, frankly, political cowardice. Joe Zukoski has got to go, and no plan Cram should go right along with him. Thank you.
You. Welcome. Please state your name and whether you live and work in the city of Binghamton.
Dr. Bob, I live on the south side. This is vexing. I mean, we all know Zukoski is an unscrupulous scumbag. Everybody knows that. People have been complaining about him for years. He's a racist. He generates scandals. He has to be stopped. This body has assured us that there's nothing to be done other than generate more reports, which is, frankly, after a year and a half, we're kind of tired of hearing about how you can't really do anything except generate more reports. So maybe you should stop thinking solely about what you can do through official channels and start thinking about what you can refuse to do, and stop giving the mayor or the cops everything that they want so that you can actually fight the mayor rather than making public statements about him. Another report, investigation report, we know what Cram's going to do with that. He's going to tear it off the roll and have himself a nice wipe. It's not going to be worth anything. So you need to start thinking about how to actually leverage the power of this body to do things that the community needs you to do, rather than continue to pay lip service, and to treat this as if this is some kind of therapeutic space for community members to process their feelings as opposed to a city government. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that wants to come down for public comment? Welcome. Can you please state your name and whether you live and work in the city of Binghamton? Can you check and make sure the green light is on? There you go.
Hi. Hi.
There you go. Thank
Hi.
you.
Thank you for the opportunity to talk. My name is Mary Clark, and I am a resident of Laurel Avenue here in the city of Binghamton. Just moved up here today because for probably the last 15, 20 years, almost 2 decades, I and other community members have really been shocked and appalled by the culture of the Binghamton Police Department led by Joe Koski. The policing has working. Should I use this one? Switch it on. Thank you. As I was saying, under the culture of the Binghamton Police Department has been riddled with racial bias and all sorts of scandals over these last 20 years that I have been paying attention. And this has been headed by Joe Zukoski for a number of these years. Well, we started to see is under his leadership, numerous racial incidents, profiling that led to the disproportionate arrest of people of color, situations with mental health issues that rather than de-escalation techniques being used, we had seen only things that stood to escalate the situation. This led to our community back in 2016, almost 10 years, or 2015, 10 years ago, a decade ago, led to the community to ask for modest reform, to train our police officers with de-escalation training, with anti-racism training, and anti-bias training. We asked to collect data on the demographics of the arrest records that was supported by the federal DOJ. We asked for many of these trainings to be headed by police organizations who are well skilled to do these things. We asked, it was totally rejected under Joe's leadership, and the community was like villainized, saying we were anti-police because we were asking our police force to become into the 21st century and to be modernized and to do the things that will better serve our community, and I believe better serve our officers as well. This is really an opportunity that we have now, because I think it's pretty clear Joe must go. You know, I don't think the history that he has, what other people have talked about, and this is just an incident that has perpetuated an opportunity for us to modernize our police force and to have new leadership that has new vision, that's respectful of all our community members and can better serve us. We have an opportunity now to engage the community to be part of the process, engage other, police officers to be part of the process, just not have a closed door process that we've seen time and time again, dictated by this small, no, we can only choose from these 3 people. That's absurd. There's an opportunity to change that process, to have an opportunity for us to have real choice, look at really quality people who know what they're doing and have an opportunity to bring us forward, rather than the status quo, which tends to be the situation of this current administration under Mayor Cram and under Joe Zukoski's leadership. It gives us opportunity, and I beg our city council to take this opportunity to really create a better culture in our police department, create better policing, create better leadership that will serve us all. So I urge you to do that and take the opportunity, and don't be restricted by these. Well, the legislation says. You have the power to change legislation and change this process, and not stick with rules that have been made 40 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Did anyone else want to come down for public comment? Thank you. Welcome. Can you state your name and whether you live and work in the city of Binghamton?
Marcia Gates, and is this working? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Marcia Gates, and I am a community member who organizes in Binghamton. I was actually late because I was working with LaRue on a possible art street festival, so get ready for that. I apologize if I repeat what's already been said, because like I said, I did arrive late. I think at the core of this, we're looking at a culture that has been fostered for misuse and abuse of power. That's what we're talking about. We've all seen the tapes. What Zukoski's girlfriend said was, "We are the police." But that's not really the heart of the issue. The heart of the issue is that he's created a culture in which she didn't think twice about saying that. Not only did he not address it to say, whoa, 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 okay, I'm the police, you're not. But she was so comfortable because that culture has been created and fostered over the last decade or two. Whether or not he told the Johnson City Police to not charge her, it doesn't really matter. He has created an entire culture in which it's expected that he is going to overstep and misuse his power. You have the ability, you have the power to stop that, to say that that's not how we want to do business. That's not how we want to represent ourselves to the community. We are not okay with the highest law officer overstepping in such a way. Thank you.
Anybody else want to come down? Do we have any written comment? Okay. And with that, we'll close our public comment and we can move on to the next item on our agenda, which is a review of the mayoral veto. We don't have any of those tonight. So we can move to the first read legislation. We have introductory resolution R 25-43 considered in planning with Councilmember Rathmel.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to adopt our 2543, a resolution to submit an application for New York State Climate Smart Communities Grant.
I'll second.
So this Climate Smart Communities Grant is a part of the Downtown Revitalization Initiative on Clinton Street and will largely cover streetscape, trees, potential broadening, sidewalk. There's a walkability aspect to the goal and intention of this grant. We don't have final pieces to it, but this will authorize the submission of an application to accept. The piece that I want to point out, there's a discrepancy that was identified between the work session and this introduction in the match amount that the city would be responsible for. It overall is, Councilmember Kavanaugh, correct me if I'm wrong, but overall it's a $3 million project, $2 million in grant funds that would need to be matched by $1 million. We originally discussed a $500,000 match. Is that accurate? I think.
We literally just got the construction estimates in from the consultants. Can never say it. Barton and Ligaitis, thank you. Never. Barton and Ligaitis this afternoon. So the actual estimates. So the state is we're putting an application for, with the state for, $2 million. And, the total project cost is, $2,860,840. So the local match would be $860,840, which is 30.09% match. The minimum required match is 20%, an 80-20 project. So but the maximum grant is 2 million. So with the maximum grant, in order to do the project, we would have to put in $860,000. And I haven't consulted with the Corporation Council. Do we need to change? I want to change the amount in the resolution from 1 million to 860,000 and change, or does it not matter? But being mindful, this has to get done tonight because the application is due before the end of the week.
So I would say to authorize at least up to the $1 million amount and then ideally fall below it.
Okay.
We can authorize in excess of what we, like if we don't spend as much as what's authorized, that's fine. Whereas if we need more, we have a bigger problem.
Okay. So leave as it is at the 1 million. Okay.
Do we need to add up to, because right now it's the amount of flat 1 million, do we need to amend to add up to 1 million?
You could add language that says not to exceed, but
Not
like
to exceed.
practically, if we don't, like if we only need 800,000, that's all we're gonna spend. We're not gonna.
Okay.
It'll just sit there as authorized.
So this is adjacent to the DRI initiative, but this particular grant is not directly downtown revitalization initiative money. It's a separate pot of money, and it's for the street reconstruction along the same corridor with the pedestrian amenities. There's a large number of street trees in there, going for a look similar to what has been done in the Deco district. So.
Is there any further discussion on this? Okay, will the clerk please take the roll call vote?
Councilmember Rathmel,
Aye.
Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Middleton,
Aye.
Councilmember Murray,
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Hotchkiss.
Aye.
Thank you. That is 6-0.
Thank you. We're going to move on to introductory resolution R25-47, considered in Public Works and Parks. I'm going to give this to Council Member Middleton.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Hotchkiss. I'd like to make a motion for our RL 25-47, a resolution to enter in an agreement with Keystone for construction, administration, and inspection services.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. And discussion. So that, I mean, we just went over this on Monday. There was an individual from Keystone Services that has been working with the city on some inspection projects, specifically the levee, and there's other work and inspection that needs to be done, and we're authorizing the city to go into a contract so that we can keep these services going.
And I just wanted to add to that, from the discussion on Monday, it seemed like we were receiving these services at a considerably lower rate than we received when we contracted initially. And so I just wanted to highlight that.
Yep. Is there any other discussion on this point? Okay, will the clerk please take the roll?
Councilmember Rathmel,
Aye.
Councilmember Matavetsky.
Aye.
Councilmember Kavanaugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Middleton,
Aye.
Councilmember Murray,
Aye.
Council President Pro Tem Hotchkiss.
Aye.
6-0.
Motion passes. And now we can move on to the communications from council. I will start with Councilmember Murray.
Thank you, Pro Tem Hotchkiss. Hang on one second here. Okay, so I just wanted to remind folks about the open call for applications for the Clinton Street DRI. The deadline for that is Friday, August 15th. The initial application is fairly simple. I believe it's only a page. I would encourage folks to go to the website, which is clintonstreetdri.org. Again, the deadline is August 15th. There are lots of supports being offered by the city if individuals have questions about whether or not their ideas would meet the parameters to be able to apply for these for the funds, as well as if folks are looking for support with completing the application. Also, the next meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, August 27th from 3 to 5 p.m. at the senior center on Clinton Street. And so it's open to the public, and I would encourage folks to be a part of the conversation about their vision for what they would like Clinton Street to look like, be a part of the conversation to highlight any concerns that they have. We recently had a subcommittee meeting here at City Hall to address issues related to safety and the cleanliness of Clinton Street with receiving this $10.1 million grant, and to think about what we could be doing proactively. And that stemmed from community conversations about the process. And so again, I just want to encourage folks to share your thoughts, be a part of the conversation. If you cannot attend the meetings, reach out to me, and I would be happy to share any concerns or input on behalf of residents. Thank you.
Thank you. We can move on to Councilmember Middleton.
Thank you. I just wanted to read a quick quote from Malcolm X, and it says, "I believe in human rights for everyone, and none of us is qualified to judge each other, and that none of us should therefore have that authority." And that's just kind of my sentiments of tonight's meeting. I don't really have anything else, I think. Oh, yeah, tomorrow's my daughter's birthday, so happy birthday to my baby, Khadijah. That's it.
Thank you. Councilmember Kavanaugh.
I will reserve my comments tonight.
Thank you. And move on to Councilmember Medevetsky.
Discovery Center, July 31st, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. The Lost Boys and Fairy Dust, a Neverland magical party, crafts, activities, and games, free with admission. And August 1st, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Discovery Center, they have their free First Friday art show, free admission night. So people should take advantage of the sponsored free nights at the Discovery Center. CARES reached out and wanted to get us to start advertising their upcoming backpack giveaway. So CARES will be at Saratoga on August 21st from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. So a little far out on the timeline. I will be out of town next week. So not next week, for the next meeting. So week of August 11th. So just heads up to everybody that I will be taking a week off. And I guess it's kind of obviously a touchy subject meeting, but the deadline for police recruitment, the civil service exam is coming up, and I would hope that folks that think of it as a helping profession and want to come and serve the community, step up and sign up for that exam, and that we recruit good people. And wanted to make sure we're aware, and the age was raised up to 42. So people with more life experience and understanding of people's situations are able to take that exam and serve. So
Pro Temp,
thanks.
President Nate, Council. I'm so sorry. I can't
You
find
can
the
call me whatever you want.
Councilman Hotchkiss.
Yes.
Do you mind if I just say something before we get to you? You know, the information that I shared about or Clinton Street DRI was already kind of on my list of announcements. But what I want to say is that, you know, during the 2 minutes that everyone had an opportunity to share, right? We can't interrupt that. And it's really your time to share how you're feeling, what's happening for you. And I just want to say that like what you all had to say did not fall on deaf ears. I know sometimes it's like a little bit disheartening to just speak and not get a response from council. You know, I leaned over and I asked him like, you know, being new to council, like, am I allowed to clap? Can I do finger snaps? And, you know, you can't really respond in those ways, but I just want to articulate that what you all said did not fall on deaf ears. I can only speak for myself. And I am, and okay, and for Councilwoman Middleton, but everyone has an opportunity to share, right? And what also resonated was thinking outside of the box, right? Yes, we're bound by bylaws. Yes, we're bound by regulations, which I'm still learning and understanding. But also being willing to look at what can be done and what, if it's not within our legal right or obligations, then what maybe needs to look differently in order to address issues. So again, I feel like the comments have given more for me to think about. And wanting to continue to have conversations with folks who have ideas of what that could potentially look like. It's a beautiful day outside. Y'all could have been anywhere else, but you chose to give up your time to come here to speak with us, to put your statements on record, and it goes noted. And I just want to share that, again, it did not fall on deaf ears.
Oh, yes, Carl. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I just wanted to say something too. Thank you like for saying that. I know that we are like kind of bound to saying certain things at this moment, but I just want everyone to know that we definitely do respect your opinion. Thank you for coming. It definitely opens up our eyes. This microphone fell off. I think us as being leaders in this position, we could not do our job effectively without everyone else. So thank you so much for your community input, and it is not going to fall on deaf ears. So thank you.
Just finishing up.
Go ahead.
Traffic Board, next meeting is August 14th at 9:15 a.m. right here. And there is public comment there if you have any traffic related issues as well. I didn't get it in the earlier session, but there should be plenty of time if you submit a form with a traffic related issue for it to be on the agenda for the next meeting. And feel free to CC me when you're submitting that to make sure council has visibility. We don't see what goes on if you do just the web forms.
Thank you. And Councilmember Rathma.
So I just wanted to speak directly to the content of the public comment period. A little bit of information just because there were a few questions. I think everyone knows that Zukoski is on administrative leave. I think everyone knows that the city has retained an independent investigator. The target timeline for that investigation is approximately 30 days. There are a handful of things that might be out of the city's control, but that is the target timeline. And City Council has confirmed that the final report will be made public. In terms of trajectory, if misconduct is identified, it is absolutely the council's position that charges should be brought swiftly, but the final authority for deciding whether or not to bring charges or impose disciplinary action rests with the mayor, which is why I'm making public comment and sharing your concern and representing from the community perspective puts pressure on Mayor Cram in that decision. So again, thank you for showing up. There are two pieces of civil service law that do theoretically dictate this process, as well as Binghamton Civil Service Commission. But the council, and I'll say myself, so many of you represented the need for this to be a community conversation. As we heard tonight, the data identifying how detrimentally the community has been impacted by existing leadership and what they go through every single day because of this culture of leadership. because the community is most directly impacted, I absolutely agree that a community-led process should be the priority for moving forward and identifying who is going to lead should misconduct and charges be brought. So, I mean, just as Councilmember Murray said, and I appreciated those comments, the opportunity is in front of us to look outside of how things have always been done. And that's something that this council has consistently done since we started, well, most of y'all started early last year. So appreciate the comments, appreciate the feedback. A lot of what you shared is shared by those on this body.
Thank you, Councilmember Rathmel. I did see a few people come in later than our public comment period. Did anybody want to make a public comment? If anybody nods, I can try to, it gives me any indication that they want to say anything. I can open it back up. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I guess in closing, my comments are I would further reiterate what Councilmember Rathmel's sentiments, but thank you for coming and sharing your thoughts and feelings on the situation. We're actively working on it. And it's not being like swept under the rug right now by this body. I can assure you that. But thank you all. And I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
The motion is second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.